rough, we ain't gonna hide. Pop and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Amadaya production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Pop and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Pop and get us swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Amadaya Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Amadaya Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur. You can also follow me on X at DGoddess27. And as per usual, if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Okay, so with that all been said, listen, for those of you who have not been receiving your notifications, please make sure that you double check to make sure you're still subscribed, because I see there's still unsubscribed people on a daily basis. Okay, so please pay attention. At least 3 to 4 people every day. All right, so don't let it be you, is all I'm saying. Now, with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. Let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. We got to keep the lights on.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
So with that all being said, don't forget you can purchase 12 Tribes hair oil at Etsy.com. Just look for Lisa Crafts. You can also find it at Walmart.com. Okay, so now with that all being said, you all have to excuse me. I'm multitasking because I actually forgot to send out the links to the people that I normally send it out to. Okay, so let's see who is all in here. Okay, the lovely T, excuse me, Juju B is in the house. Leon, 504 Nolan, Nessa G, Claudette. All right, let's get into it. Okay, Pearly. All right, G from the land. We next, aka DSB, is in the house. All right, let's get into it. It's Bree to you. Okay, Sweet D is here. 504 Nola, Gwendolyn, Pearly. Okay, so Anita Harrell, Queen Sam's in the house. All right, shout out to all of my loyal roads and everyone tuned into the Queen. Okay, let's get this party started. I see DSB, We Next, aka DSB, has gifted us 2 memberships. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you, as I'm sure everyone else does too. Peace, love, and blessings. All right, so you all get those likes up. Well, I guess I'm not gonna be able to send these emails out right now. I really don't have time. Hold on, beloveds. Let me just post this on Twitter real quick. Hold on. Give me just a second. All right, there we go. Okay, so thanks for the memberships, beloved. Okay, so let's talk about it. You all, let's get into it. Y'all know they're still hating on Shedeur. We're going to talk about that. Shannon is in the news. There's an update about the Carmelo Anthony story. And also, we have got to talk about Diddy. Okay, so let's get into it. Everybody hit that like button. Okay, so yeah, let's go to this report about Diddy. And then we'll get started with the rest of these receipts. All right, because they're still talking about Diddy and how he rejected the plea deal. Now, I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see exactly what they were offering him. But whatever it was, Diddy sure didn't want it. Please pay attention.
Going back to Diddy, this sets the stage for jury selection to actually begin next week. Lisa Evers was in the courtroom. She's joining us now from Lower Manhattan. And Lisa, tell us what happened today.
Well, Antoine, this was the final pretrial conference before the actual trial gets underway, officially beginning with the jury selection on Monday, this coming Monday. Now, Diddy was in court today. He was wearing the tan MDC inmate uniform, even though the judge gave him permission for when the trial starts to wear regular, what they're calling business casual, a button-down shirt, pants. He's allowed to have 5 button-down shirts, 5 pairs of pants, 5 pairs of socks, and 2 pairs of shoes, but without any shoelaces. Now, today what happened is the judge officially confirmed to him through the prosecutors and his defense team that he was offered a plea deal. The details were not specified in court, but he was offered a plea deal to make this whole case go away. But Diddy stood up through the entire reading and this entire process of back and forth with the judge and the prosecutors and the defense team and said that he understood what he was doing. He did not want the plea deal and that he was officially rejecting it. So that was one thing in terms of the plea deal. That was very important. And then the other thing was a lot of talk, Antoine, as you mentioned, about the jury selection. Now, all this week, there has been pre-selection of jurors. And I've learned exclusively from sources close to the process that there were 700 jurors that walked through those doors that you see right behind me, filling out these questionnaires, very detailed questionnaires of anywhere up to 70 questions about their fitness to serve on that jury. Now, they will, a select number of them who are accepted by both the prosecution and the defense will show up on Monday morning to be interviewed one-on-one privately by both the prosecutors and the defense. And Diddy's defense team asked, can he please be there for that? And the judge said, yes, he can be there for that as well. So they're expecting that to take most of Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Antoine. But his demeanor in court, I think seeing that things were going on, he seemed to be more upbeat than some of the previous times that we've seen him here. His hair is salt and pepper now, which may surprise a lot of people who are used to seeing it just being solid black. And also, too, I saw him for the first time since I've been there in court, actually pull out reading glasses to look at documents that were handed to him by his defense attorneys.
Lisa, Antoine, we know that you...
Excuse me, we're blowing, all the pollen is blowing around here. Sorry.
No, Lisa, I'll make this one quick. The second question, was any family members there supporting him?
No, they weren't. They're still expected to show up when the actual trial, the opening statements get underway on May 12th. But there was one of his supporters, a music producer from Harlem called Charlucci Finney. We caught up with him as he was coming out of court. He was wearing a Free Puff sweatshirt, but when he was inside the courtroom, he had it covered up. But when he got outside, I spoke with him, like, why was he there? Because it's very rare to see anybody other than family there on Diddy's side supporting him. And here's what he had to say. What made you come here to support Puff?
I'm supporting Puff because he's innocent, and I'm wholeheartedly believing his innocence, and I knew he's innocent. So,
well, you say you know he's innocent.
1,000%.
Now, the judge also warned both sides, both the prosecution and the defense, that he was going to be very, very strict about public statements being made moving forward, especially on the eve of this trial beginning. And he seems very determined to keep this on schedule, which so far it has been, to keep it moving through. He said, I know it's ambitious to try to get this jury picked, but the jury selection is very, very critical. All they need is 12 jurors and 6 alternates, a total of 18 people out of this final 145 that made it out past that first round with 700. But that's the latest here from federal court. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News. Antoine, back to you.
Lisa, that was a lot to get through, and you did a great job. Thank you so much. We'll see you at 5.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, so you all heard it. You all heard it. Diddy didn't want that plea deal. He's not here for it. And that guy outside said that he believes Diddy's 1,000% innocent. All righty then. Well, now let's talk about the witnesses. Let's talk about the witnesses, because this just in. Expected witnesses in the Sean Diddy Combs trial include former partners, a male S worker, and a friend of Cassie Ventura's. So this is exclusive, they say. All right. So some of Sean Diddy Combs' former SEXual partners, a business associate and a male S worker, are among the witnesses expected to testify at his trial. I wonder if that S worker, the male, is Jonathan Oddie. I wonder if it's Jonathan Oddie. I just have several questions. But anyway, so at least 4 witnesses who are expected to testify against Combs in his federal criminal trial starting next week are accusers who have already filed civil suits against the embattled music mogul. Well, that would include Jonathan Oddie, because he hasn't filed anything. So the witness list has not been made public, but 3 individuals familiar with the case spoke to CNN under the condition of anonymity. Now, let me just tell you all something. For those of you who missed yesterday's broadcast, I told everybody that I do think that witness number 3 is absolutely Gina Hoon. Okay, Gina Hoon, the Asian and Black girl. She said she's half Black. But the young lady who was supposedly pregnant by him, and then she did an interview with Tasha K in 2019, I think that's who it is. Just from all of the information that's been given, and from my research, I think she's victim number 3. Okay? So with that all being said, and if you go watch the video, I'm sure you'll figure out why I think that. Okay, so the central witness in the trial is Cassandra Cassie Ventura, the singer and an ex-girlfriend of Combs. Now, let me tell you all something too. You know, Diddy has been trying to get the whole thing postponed. They wouldn't give him but 2 weeks, but he wanted more time. Now, I want you all to remember, you heard it here first, because I told you all months ago that Diddy needs to get the trial postponed. And why did I tell you all that? I said because Cassie's pregnant. That's not going to be a good look. Cassie walking up in there with that big stomach, she's already showing. And I said it would be smart for him to try to get it postponed to after she has that baby. And I do believe that's why Diddy is trying to get it postponed. Okay, I do believe that may be part of the reason. But nonetheless, it didn't work because the judge said no. All right, so anyway, the judge has allowed the other alleged victims, whom CNN has identified through sources, to testify under pseudonyms in an effort to protect their identity. Now, in court papers, the government's key witnesses are referred to as victims 2, 3, and 4. CNN has reached out to a spokesperson at the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, as well as Combs' representatives, for comment. Now, Combs has pleaded not guilty to the charges, of course, They say these are not new allegations or new accusers. Okay, these are the same individuals, former longtime girlfriends who were involved in consensual relationships. Okay, this was their private sex life defined by consent, not coercion. Prosecutors have accused Combs of running a criminal enterprise where he and others coerced women into sexual situations known as freak-offs with male prostitutes in which they were often drugged and forced to engage in sex acts for days. Authorities allege Combs recorded some of the acts and controlled his victims by promising financial and career opportunities as well as threats of violence and other harm. Now, a number of supporting witnesses will also testify as government witnesses to corroborate the accounts of the key witnesses or to provide other relevant information at trial, according to sources. Now, among those supporting witnesses expected to testify is a male sex worker who is seen in explicit videos of Combs' called freak-offs. According to one source who says additional S workers may also testify at the trial. Now, a friend of Ventura's will also take the stand, according to another source, who says this individual will corroborate Ventura's allegations and testify about some of her own claims of violence by Sean Combs. So, while Combs is facing more than 60 civil lawsuits, his criminal trial will be limited in scope, with the jury instructed to deliberate on what's represented or presented in court. At a hearing last month, the judge gave Combs a significant legal victory, ruling that most evidence about prior sexual assault allegations against him that are not included in the indictment would not be allowed in trial. Now, though Combs' his criminal trial is separate from the mountain of civil suits he's facing, many of the lawsuits have served as a roadmap of sorts for prosecutors, according to sources familiar with the federal investigation that led to Combs being indicted. Now, CNN previously reported that federal investigators had brought in several civil accusers for questioning during their vast probe over the past year and a half, which resulted in federal searches of Combs' homes in Los Angeles and Miami in March of 2024, and Combs' subsequent arrest in Manhattan in September 2024. One source explained to CNN that some civil accusers who aren't being called to testify in the criminal trial have been integral to the government's investigation behind the scenes. Ventura filed her lawsuit against Combs in November of 2023, in which she accused Combs of a decade of repeated physical and emotional abuse during their relationship. She alleged that shortly after she was signed to Combs to his Bad Boy Records label, she was lured into an ostentatious, fast-paced, and drug-fueled lifestyle and into a romantic relationship with him where Combs was physically violent, controlled all aspects of her life, and forced her to engage in sex acts with other men. In the criminal indictment against Combs, the government mirrored many of the claims from Ventura's civil suit, including an incident where she claimed Combs physically assaulted her in 2016 in a Los Angeles hotel. In May of 2024, CNN first broadcast hotel surveillance footage of the incident, which matched Ventura's civil claims. Last week, the judge said he would allow footage of Ventura being beaten by Combs to be included as evidence in the trial. Prosecutors have said that a witness who recorded a version of the hotel surveillance video will be called to testify at the trial. Okay, jurors in the trial may be asked about guns, drugs, and sex with multiple partners. Okay, they say the proposed questions for the voir dire process, which is set to begin in New York next week, were filed both by federal prosecutors and Combs' defense team on Friday. Examinations regarding potential jurors' feelings, beliefs, or experiences related to topics like intimate partner violence, cheating in a relationship, prostitution, the distribution of illegal drugs, and the music industry were among topics covered in the proposals. They said the defendant in this case is a wealthy celebrity. Okay, the filing from the defense states, continuing with a suggested question about whether wealthy people get away with things that wealthy people or less wealthy people do not. All right, so how do you all think this is, honey? I am so anxious. Like, I'm just waiting for this whole thing to get started. I cannot wait to hear the opening arguments. Oh my goodness, I only wish that it was going to be broadcast live so we could stream it, so we could watch it on live. Don't y'all wish we could all watch it together? Don't y'all wish we could all watch it together? But guess what? That's okay, because we're going to be on live getting the updates, okay? That's what we're going to be doing. So anyway, with that all being said, now let's talk about Shannon. Okay, let's talk about Shannon because Stephen A. Smith said he sensed ESPN wouldn't let Shannon Sharpe remain on the air. Let's get into it. So Hall of Fame tight end and media personality Shannon Sharpe stepped aside from his 2 days per week employment with ESPN in the aftermath of the filing of a civil complaint against him alleging sexual assault and other claims. While Sharpe didn't step aside until Thursday, his on-air First Take partner knew it was coming on Monday after he saw the news of the lawsuit. Now, via BarrettSportsMedia.com, Stephen A. Smith recently explained in an appearance on the Big Boy TV podcast that he sensed right away what the end result would be, saying, although I was hopeful that it ultimately would not lead to him being off the air, I knew it wasn't going to go down like that because I know Disney. The court of public opinion is what the Disneys of the world and others concern themselves with. There's a more immediate issue, and unfortunately, that has worked against him at this particular time. Now, Smith nevertheless said he believes Sharpe's claim that he did nothing wrong. He says, I know the brother tells me he's innocent. I believe him. I know that he does not trust Easy, and that honest conversation that he's had with me, he wouldn't have with just anybody. I'm going to honor that, and I'm going to make sure that he knows and that everybody knows that no matter how things go down, not to say that he would rely on me, but if he ever chose to, anything that I can do for him as a friend, I will do. Well, that's nice of him to say. After the news of the lawsuit emerged on Monday, Sharpe's lawyer, Lenny Davis, conducted a Tuesday afternoon press conference. Davis said Sharpe offered at least $10 million to settle the claim before the suit was filed. Davis thereafter insisted that the 8-figure offer does not determine Sharpe's claim of innocence. Does not undermine Sharpe's claim of innocence. Now, after Sharpe announced he would exit ESPN until the start of the NFL preseason deadline, Deadline.com reported that ESPN was in the process of sidelining him. Okay, Sharpe's team issued a statement insisting that Sharpe acted on his own. Sharpe said he was exiting ESPN to focus on his family and the frivolous claim filed against him. Sharpe has nevertheless continued to produce podcast content. Last weekend, he recorded shows from the draft in Green Bay. Okay, yeah, he's still doing his own podcast, honey. All right, he's got that to fall back on. But the question is, could Shannon Sharpe go broke? Okay, what happens if he loses the sexual assault case, breaking down the fallout of a $50 million lawsuit? Shannon Sharpe faces a $50 million lawsuit alleging sexual assault, potentially devastating his $14 million net worth. I'm sorry. Do y'all hear this? Shannon's only worth $14 million, and I shouldn't say only because that's a whole lot of money. But I thought Shannon was probably worth more than that. Does that sound about right to you all? Because y'all know sometimes they don't know what they're talking about. Did you all think that Shannon was worth more than $14 million? Panther Strike says, when a black man makes a statement, I wake up wondering how to make my employer more money. That's how you know he's a damn. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith said that, or Shannon? I think Stephen said that, right? Jamal said, I'll take 14. Okay, so I actually thought Shannon, Gwendolyn said, yes, Shannon can go broke, then go to jail. Oh, not to jail. Overthought said, no, I was confused when they sued for $50 million. I thought Shannon had more money than that. Specifically because he offered her $10 million, but I guess that's because he had that contract for $100 million that was in the works or up for negotiation. But now I'm pretty sure that's gone. Okay, so anyway, yeah, they said he's worth $14 million, and they're saying that this could be devastating and he could go through asset liquidation or bankruptcy. Now, a guilty verdict could severely damage his media empire. First of all, it wouldn't be guilty because he's not in a criminal court, okay? So he would simply just lose. But anyway, impacting his roles at ESPN, the Nightcap Podcast, and Club Shay Shay, leading to potential sponsor and platform abandonment. His liquor brand and merchandise ventures are also at risk. I forgot all about his liquor. Now, Shannon Sharpe is no stranger to headlines, but this time the stakes are higher than ever. The former NFL tight end and media powerhouse is facing a $50 million lawsuit alleging sexual assault. Now, while the legal process is still unfolding and no judgment has been made, the sheer size of the lawsuit left fans and observers asking one big question: what happens if Sharpe loses? So, according to various outlets, Sharpe's net worth is estimated at about around 14 million. So, a $50 million payout would dwarf that amount, like wiping off his current assets and forcing him into major financial reconstructing. Okay, or restructuring. If found liable, Sharpe could face asset liquidation, garnishment of future earnings, or even bankruptcy proceedings. Unless a settlement is reached for a significantly smaller amount, the financial hit could be devastating. How do y'all feel about that? I know some of y'all are not crazy about Shannon. Now, here's what some people posted on X. Somebody said ESPN sources are doubtful Shannon Sharpe will return. This is at least the third time since 2010 that a woman has accused him of forcing her to have sex. At the very least, a near 60-year-old man threatened to choke a 19-year-old girl after an argument. They say Shannon Sharpe's future at ESPN is in question following these allegations. Someone else says, by the way, how stupid is Shannon Sharpe? He's 56 years old and makes $6.5 million a year at ESPN. His podcast was reportedly about to make $100 million, and he threw it all away by hooking up and threatening a 19-year-old OnlyFans model with violence. Yeah, he is pretty stupid. So Sharpe has spent years building up his wealth through broadcasting, endorsements, and podcast ventures. All of that could be undone by a single court decision. Well, this is his own fault. He should have listened to Cat Williams when Cat told him, okay, that these white women can bring you all the way down in 2 weekends. Okay. And so Sharpe is a major face at ESPN on First Take, co-hosts the Nightcap podcast with Chad Johnson, and runs the viral interview platform Club Shay Shay. All of these rely on public perception. If he loses the case, there's a very real chance that sponsors and media platforms will cut ties or quietly remove him from the spotlight. Even the mere association with a guilty verdict in a high-profile assault case can lead to devastating damage. In the media world, trust and relatability are everything, and a courtroom loss could be a career ender. They say Sharpe also launched his own liquor brand, Le Portier, and has a growing presence in merchandising and content branding. These ventures are based on his personal brand, something that becomes incredibly fragile in the face of controversy. Now, public-facing brands often react quickly to legal findings, especially in cases involving sexual misconduct. If Sharpe loses, Le Portier and Club Shay Shay merchandise may be shelved by distributors or quietly pulled from store shelves. Partnering companies won't want to risk backlash by staying affiliated. Now, a courtroom loss doesn't just cost money, it reshapes legacies. Sharpe is a Pro Football Hall of Famer, a beloved sports personality, and a media mogul in the making. But legal guilt in a case like this could overshadow all of it. Future roles with the NFL, broadcasting networks, or as a public speaker, that may all vanish. Even endorsements or partnerships unrelated to the case could disappear. In today's cultural climate, reputational redemption can take years, and still it isn't even guaranteed. Oh, honey, this is all so bad for Shannon. I'm starting to feel a little bad for Shannon. How about y'all? Y'all feeling bad for Shannon? Once in the chat, Jeff ATL said he's learning the hard way. Does anyone feel bad for Shannon? Does anyone? DSB said, I'll have more money than Shannon Sharpe soon. Oh, DSB, you are so nefarious for that. Thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. Beloved, peace, love, and blessings. And tell us how you really feel, honey. Okay? Not more than them real soon. All right. The Inkwell said he was too old not to know better. I absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. Sweet D said another crash out over Becky. Okay, when will they learn? Christopher said we all make mistakes. This is true, beloved, but alas, some of us make mistakes that are much more nefarious than others. Okay, much more nefarious. I mean, simply put, Shannon absolutely should have known better. What was he thinking? And you know, the fact that Monique and Cat Williams, I'm not ever going to get over this. The mere fact that Cat Williams and Monique both came on his platform and tried to warn him. And do y'all know that though Monique said it in a joking manner, she was very serious. Okay, and when Cat Williams brought up Jonathan Majors, don't you think that maybe he was throwing the hint at Shannon for him to catch it because he already knows how Shannon gets down? I mean, we all do. We all do. And it's just, you know, it's just not a good look at the end of the day. All right? It's just not the look. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, people tried to warn him, but he wouldn't listen. Now let's talk about Carmelo Anthony, and then I'm saving Deion Sanders and his sons Shiloh and Shedeur for last. Okay, I'm saving them for last. Leah said, "Thereby grace of the Most High goes." Okay, Trujillo said, "The power of the snow bunny, honey." All right. Roberta Collins said, "Don't feel sorry for these old men who run after young, clear girls." You're absolutely right, beloved. I mean, he did say, after all, that if you ever see him with a black woman on his arm, he's holding her for the police. Okay? Let's not forget he said that. Damn it, I almost forgot. Shannon. I almost had an inkling, okay? Not a whole ounce, but just an inkling of sympathy and empathy for him. But then I remembered what he said about black women. Okay, what he said. Okay, I just want y'all to pay attention. So, with that all being said, let's talk about Carmelo Anthony. They're talking about the $500,000 in donations. Boy, these people out here know they be hating so hard. Okay, Carmelo Anthony's family's plans for $500,000 in donations after track meet stabbing revealed by fundraising exec. Are the fundraisers supposed to tell people what you're going to do with your money? Okay, I didn't know that. I don't know. I've never had a fundraiser, so I don't know how it all works. Diddy in Dallas said, "Yep, Queen, when you remember what he has said about black women, it's F him." You're right about that. Truth No TV said, "And guess what? After this thing is over, he's still going to go after them snow bunnies." Yeah, I believe you on that, beloved. He's not going to learn. I mean, he already got a ninja wake-up call, but that still doesn't wake some Negroes up. Please pay attention, honey. I absolutely cannot with Shannon. Shannon just isn't that sharp, is he?
Used to provide them some security, some much needed security. I mean, if what they're getting, which I imagine it's 10x what I'm getting, what my family's getting, the threats that we've received from people on the right around us allowing this campaign, that security is much needed for their family. And so, yes, they've mentioned that security is a real thing that they will be affording themselves in this situation. And I completely agree that that's probably necessary with some of the threats they've been receiving.
Let me say this. This man here, this is the exec of Gibson Go. Okay. And basically,
also, a secure.
He's talking, his name is Jacob Wells, and he's talking about how they've been threatening Gibson Go too. I mean, it's the nerve of these devils. They don't have that same energy when it's killers and thugs like how Rottenhouse, and yes, I said Rottenhouse.
Location for them to live rather than just somebody docks their information. So that creates for a very bad situation for them. So it's completely understandable for them to go and find a decent housing where, but they were renting before and they're continuing to rent. So it's like, okay, $3,000 a month, for the next year and a half. It's a very small percentage of the funds. We have a team that deals with verification and payouts. And I know that they spoke directly to the Anthony family around those, and some clarity was given. So no, I can't say too much specifically. I do know that we sent an email out to everyone that donated. So I think there's, I don't know, last I saw 14,000 people that had, sent donations in. We sent an email out to everybody reiterating that, because there was some confusion at the beginning about whether this one was specifically a legal defense fund or whether it was open for other things. And from the very beginning, the campaign was stated as in essence, a more general fund for the needs of the family during this difficult time. And so we wanted to bring clarity. So we reached out. They did update their campaign to say, hey, here's some of the things that we'll be spending money on. And we sent an email out to everyone that had donated saying, make sure that you've read. And if you have any questions now about their updated statement as far as use of funds, then you're welcome to ask for a refund if you think that it violates what you wanted to give your money to. And nobody, meaning 0 out of 14,000 people responded. 0 people responded saying, I want my money back because I thought I was under the impression it was only a legal defense fund or anything like that. So we clarified any misconceptions with the people that have given, and none of them have changed their mind about giving.
They said nobody has changed their mind about giving, okay? So the devils tried to hate and make up lies and all kind of nefarious things. They tried to make us feel like, oh, y'all donate money to these people, but they're spending it on a $900,000 house and out here buying fancy cars and all of this. I mean, the lies they told, okay? The lies that they told, honey, are just nefarious. And so anyway, activists helping Carmelo Anthony is a felon. Okay, and what's your point? So felons can't help people? Y'all need to hear this foolishness. Hold on, honey. These people are something else. Let me share my screen.
Following all of these developments closely, he's former Tucson police officer and host of the Officer Tatum Show. It's Brandon Tatum. Brandon, thanks for being with us here today. You've been following this story closely. It only seems to get more wild, and quite honest.
Okay, so let me just give you all a trigger warning. I don't know what this fool's going to say because I have not listened to this video. I didn't even know it was on here. I just happened to scroll down from the video I just showed, and here it is. So those of you who know Officer Brandon the Raccoon Tatum from ScrewTube, don't be surprised if he says something out of pocket or something stupid as hell, because that's what he always does. Okay, but let's hear this because I'm here for it.
Honestly, more abhorrent by the day.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me on. And it is very despicable what we've seen so far. And it just speaks to the underlying underbelly of racism that still exists in this country, perpetuated by Black people, in my personal opinion.
No,
I
he
made a
didn't.
statement on one of my videos to tell Metcalf's father, quit capitulating to these Black people because they do not want to be your friend. A lot of them who are associated with this incident, that's giving money in the GoFundMe, who's representing the family, they secretly despise and hate white people and want revenge for what they believe is still a wrong way back in slavery. So
this Negro is sitting up here spewing lies and racist rhetoric. Okay, the nerve of him. The nerve of him, because here's the thing. If we wanted revenge from slavery, fool, okay, we would have gotten it. What the hell's he talking about? We would have gotten it already. Be grateful that we don't. Okay? That's what always gets me. These people who try to pretend that Black people are so vengeful and we want so much revenge. Honey, if we want revenge, we'd have already enacted it. Okay, let's get it right. Okay, please pay attention. This dude right here. Okay, let me just calm down. Let me just comment. Somebody said boycott his channel. Honey, who watches his damn channel? Okay, anybody looking like me watching his channel is crazy any damn way. I
It's
never
turning
watched it.
south as the capitulation continues. But another thing that I find is going to be very problematic is that you have people that are pushing disinformation that makes it appear that this is a self-defense claim. And I do not think that this kid has a chance at self-defense, which is going to be horrible for him at the end of the day.
That does seem to be what the claim will be made when it gets to the court. But in the public opinion or in the public sphere, Brandon, you're right. We're already seeing comparisons made. In fact, Dominic Alexander did it yesterday at that press conference. He made comparisons to, for example, Kyle Rittenhouse.
And why not? Kyle Rittenhouse is a thug that murdered 2 people and injured another. Okay, and got off. And y'all didn't have a problem with that. Yikes. Nicole says, just blessing the queen for all your hard work and well-needed content. You make it look easy. Thank you, beloved. You know, I will take that compliment that I think that I do make it look easy, because I've seen a couple of people, you know, try to copy my morning wake-up call show only to fall short. And that didn't last long, maybe a week or 2. Please pay attention. But shall we continue? Thank you, beloved, for your kind words and your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings.
Yeah, that has to be the most asinine thing that you can even try to express. Kyle Rittenhouse was attacked. He was chased down, cornered. A guy tried to take his weapon. He shot him. Another person tried to use a deadly weapon against him, which was a skateboard at the time. He ended up shooting him, and another person pulled a gun on him. And what else could he have done but
the person who pulled the gun on Rittenhouse did so after he'd already started shooting people. Okay, what else were they supposed to do? Stand there and wait to get shot too? Sounds crazy.
protect himself lawfully in a place that he belonged? This is a very different situation. You have a young man who brought a knife to a track meet, which is already illegal, bringing a knife on the premise of a sporting event. And then you have the person, obviously, with the evidence that we have so far, is premeditating a stabbing because he has his hands in the bag and he's telling them, touch me and see what happens. You only need a split second to develop premeditation. So if you have a plan that you're going to use a weapon against somebody, before you use the weapon, that's premeditation. And not utilizing equal force against a person is another uphill battle for him.
Okay, I can't damn do it. I cannot listen to this mother sucker. Okay? I'm tempted to go on his channel right now and raise hell. I can't listen to him. Can't do it. Now, with that all being said, let's continue. He infuriates me. There's nothing worse on the planet of the earth than an ignorant, self-loathing, stupid Negro. And that's exactly what Officer Tatum is. I hope I never run into him in a dark alley. Okay? I hope I never see him on a street, anywhere. All right? But let me continue. So that all being said, Dr. Umar talks about the truth of Carmelo Anthony. Now I'm going to play this video. I'm going to put an overlay because the Queen doesn't have permission to use it. Shout out to Art of the Dialogue. All right, for their brilliant content. Let me put up my little, I'll tell you the truth, honey. This is all crazy.
In this self-defense act was a knife. Some people saying it was not a knife, but it was a tool that is used to clean cleats. We don't know. We will have to see when the case takes place in trial. However, Art, what we do know is it was raining that day at the track meet. It was raining. Carmelo wanted to escape the rain. And as you know, Art, when it's raining and you want to escape it, you'll run to the closest tent you can find. It don't matter if it's your school's tent. It don't matter if it's my school's tent. It don't matter if it's your team's tent. It don't matter if it's the other team's tent. I don't want to get soaking wet, so I'm going to go sit under a tent. I'm not bothering nobody. I'm minding my business. I'm just trying to keep dry. So then the two Hunter boys see him. Hunter and Austin. And they decide to approach and engage Carmelo. Now, the media is being dishonest about this situation, Art.
Damn
The
right.
media is claiming that this was a one-to-one fisticuff between Hunter, okay, and Carmelo. I'm going to say between one of the brothers because I keep getting the names mixed up. I believe it was Hunter, and I do want to say rest in peace to him. My condolences to his father, his family. Nobody deserves to lose a child. Black, white, red, yellow, or brown, nobody deserves to lose a child, not at that age, regardless of who fault it was. I'm sorry they lost their child. Condolences to the family. So R.I.P. Hunter comes and engages Carmelo with his brother Austin. Hunter and Austin tell Carmelo, you're under the wrong tent. Get from under the tent. Carmelo says, I'm just trying to stay dry or get dry. Leave me alone. Hunter, rest in peace, smacks the phone out of Carmelo's hand. He smacks the phone out of his hand, and the other brother, Austin, allegedly, goes to get his book bag. Now, Art, I want to put this in perspective for you, Art. Carmelo Anthony is 160 pounds.
Preach.
Rest in peace. Hunter is 225-pound football player. Hunter is nearly 60, 70 pounds heavier than Carmelo by himself.
Preach.
But he was not by himself, Art. Hunter was with his brother Austin. Austin is around Hunter's size as well. So what you have in this situation, Art, is a 160-pound skinny black boy minding his business. And here comes two racist white boys who decide that they're going to remove this black boy from their tent with force. So you got to ask yourself something, Art. If I'm a 160-pound black boy, two white boys in racist Texas, both of whom are 60 to 70 pounds heavier than me, they come to accost me physically, knock my phone out my hand, try to grab my bag, try to throw me out. The media is making you think it's only one.
Yes. Yes, I want you all to remember that because I told you all that it was both of them. And in fact, Hunter, because Dr. Umar is confusing the names, Austin's the one who lost his life, but both of them attacked him, according to witnesses. Okay, and Hunter already admitted it, that he was involved. When him and his mother did the interview, when he told his mother to hush, he said that we had a little altercation. He didn't say Austin and Carmelo are my brother. He said we. He was involved too. Now, the reason the media and the police didn't mention Hunter is because Hunter was also supposed to be arrested along with Carmelo. Okay, because when you're involved in an altercation or anything that has to do with the commission of a crime, a felonious crime where someone's life is lost, you're to blame. So they're both supposed to be to blame for his brother's death. That's the law. Okay, but they kept him out of it. They never even mentioned that he had a hand in it. And that's why the police obviously allegedly told people that if they leaked that video that some recorded on their phone, they'd go to jail because they don't want that video to ever get out, in my opinion, because they know that it's going to show the truth of what happened and that it was both of them attacking Carmelo.
But guess what, Art? I've been text messaged by eyewitnesses. I have received text messages from eyewitnesses. And you know what they told me, Art? They said both brothers tried to jump Carmelo. Both brothers tried to jump Carmelo. This was not a one-on-one fight.
Thank you.
It was 2-on-1, but Austin doesn't want to tell the truth because if he tells the truth, Art, that helps Carmelo to establish
self-defense,
his right to stand his ground.
That's right.
In the state of Texas, Art.
That's right.
You have the right to stand your ground. You know what that means? That means you have no duty to flee.
That's right.
When you are approached by somebody trying to harm you. In the state of Texas, you do not have to run.
And I already told you all that, and I pulled up the law and showed it to you. Okay, you don't have to flee. And you saw how the prosecutor was on News Nation, and Chris Cuomo asked him specifically about stand your ground laws in the state of Texas. And he tried to gaslight and deflect because he didn't want to tell the truth about the law. So he said, well, stand your ground's different in different states. Well, we know that, and that's not what he asked you. Okay, that's not what he asked you. But he didn't want to say that you don't have to flee. Okay. And then he tried to, give some little off-kilter answer because he knows that what the young man did was absolutely self-defense. He knows that. And let me just tell you all something too. They have charged Carmelo with first-degree murder, which basically means that he premeditated it and that he laid in wait. Now, Officer Tatum, with his raccoon self, he was correct when he said that it only takes a few seconds to formulate premeditation. That's true. And I've told you all that before. But here's the thing. It wasn't premeditated. He didn't instigate it. He didn't start it. You see, premeditation is when you start something. You started. How could you premeditate something when someone else attacks you? When someone else confronts you? How would you know that that's what they're going to do? And even after they confront you, there's no such thing as he premeditated to kill him, because at this point, when both of them confront him, now it is self-defense. Stand your ground all day long, okay? So they're trying to put out this false narrative, but what the prosecution is doing is they've charged him with first-degree murder. And here's why they did it. Because, when they have these trials, they have to give the instructions to the jurors. They have to tell the jurors what the charges are, what it means, and this, that, and the third, okay, and how you establish that you charge the person with said charges. So when they read the jurors the rules for premeditated or for murder in the first, okay, or capital murder, and then once they explain it to them, how you arrive at it, they're going to know that this is not a case of first-degree murder. So you know what that's going to make them do? Please pay attention. They're going to ask permission to charge him or convict him, if they want to convict him, mind you, and don't think it's self-defense, which hopefully they will. But if they want to find him guilty of something, which is what the prosecution is hoping for, they're hoping that they'll just ask for a lesser charge, like voluntary manslaughter, reckless homicide, or involuntary manslaughter, something along those lines, like what Cason, what's the guy's name? Cason Allison, like he got the other day, even though it was cold-blooded murder and it was premeditated because he brought the knife from home to school. Okay, and he stabbed that young man about 5 or 6 times, stabbed him in his heart, his lung, and both of his carotid arteries. He probably watched a video or something to see where to stab somebody fatally to kill them, because he hit all the major points. That was cold-blooded, premeditated, but they gave him, okay, he's not going to get any more than 6 months, 6 months to 2 years. He may even get probation, okay? And that happened in Texas too, so but this is a white guy who killed another student when they were both 18. So, but what the prosecution is hoping is that they'll find Carmelo guilty of something, because they want to send him to prison regardless. So they're never going to say anything about the self-defense. They're just going to keep it at capital murder, in my opinion, so that the jury can say, well, it's not really capital murder. We can't come to a conclusion on that. So let's just charge him with this. Okay, that's what they're doing. Please pay attention. Okay, now let's continue.
In the state of Texas, if somebody is approaching to harm you, you have no duty to run. And if you feel that your life or safety is in imminent danger, you have a right to defend yourself, to include using deadly force. So when you hear people say, why didn't he run? First of all, it was raining. So I assume the ground was wet. These two boys, troublemakers, respectfully, but
isn't that some ish? Saying, why didn't he run? Well, why didn't Kyle Rittenhouse run? Why didn't Daniel Penny run? Okay, if we want to take it there. And in fact, Ahmaud Arbery did run and died anyway, murdered by 2 thugs who don't look like him. But let's continue.
They were troublemakers. They were athletes, so I'm sure they could run as well. But more than that, Art, Texas's stand your ground law did not require Carmelo to run. He had a right to stand and defend himself. And I'm going to say that if I am Carmelo Anthony's lawyer, I am arguing to the jury. My client felt that his safety was an imminent threat, that he felt he was about to be harmed by two football playing brothers, both of whom weighed 60 to 70 pounds more than him, and with a combined weight, Art.
All right. So I am going to stop it right there. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. Shout out to Dr. Umar, okay, for bringing facts to the table. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about Shadur, okay? Let's talk about it, because some of the people out here hating so bad, and they're just clearly pressed because this young man is so unbothered, okay? I mean, it's a sad day, is it not? Can Black people just live their lives without all the hate? Please make it all make sense. So let me just pull this up real quick. Hold on. Now, you all know that they went and dug up an old tweet from Deion Sanders where he was talking about not letting his sons play for the Cleveland Browns. That was 7 years ago. They went and dug it up. I mean, they are just trying to find anything they can to cry about. And then let's talk about Roger Goodell first off. Okay, let's talk about Roger Goodell. Hold on. Wait a minute. Why is it saying page not found? Hold on, beloveds. Hold on. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Tell you what, I'll go to a couple of videos first so I can find this Roger Goodell video. Okay, because this one's saying page not found. Okay, so here's the thing. This is what I want to say. Let me just preface the receipts with saying this. You know, a lot of haters, some Black, but mostly are not. These people that are out here hating and want to see Shadur fail. And, you know, they're laughing because he was picked in the 5th round, 144. Let me tell y'all something. These people are saying that this young man is arrogant, and they're saying that he's cocky. You know what? And they're saying that he needed to be humbled. Well, here's the news. He wasn't humbled, and nor did he need to be. Because this young man is very humble, in my opinion. You know how you know that this young man is humble? Because someone who was arrogant would have been upset that they didn't get picked 1st or 2nd, not even 3rd. They would have been angry, upset. They would have talked trash. They would have thrown a tantrum. They would have had a lot of negative things to say. They would have been upset, okay? That's what I'm saying. This young man was smiling, laughing, joyous, celebrated. He said the numbers don't matter. It's whether you get in. Okay, and I'm going to let you all hear the conference call that he was on and how he answered the question so eloquently. And this young man, as far as I'm concerned, he is very humble. Okay, he is very humble, and that's why the Most High is going to bless him continuously. Okay, and that's just what it is. Deion Sanders. Okay, now here's the thing about Deion. Deion's not arrogant either. Deion is flashy. This is true. He's always been, but he's confident in himself. He's not arrogant. And the reason I also say that Deion is not arrogant is because Deion is a very giving person, a very kind person. He tries to motivate, encourage, and inspire people. He tries to make people feel good about themselves. And hell, that's why his sons feel so good about themselves. Now, the other day when I was talking about Shadur, someone said in the chat, the young man can't help it. He loves himself. And he does. And we all should love ourselves, okay? Just like Shadur loves himself at the end of the day. And I find it very interesting that anybody would be hating on a person simply for how they feel about themselves. Not about how they feel about you, not about how they feel about anyone else, but how they feel about themselves. You see, I never understood why some people get upset, even if somebody is arrogant. Because isn't that what they're thinking of themselves? Why is that an insult to you? You see, if you're the kind of person who's upset, butthurt, or bothered because you feel like someone else is arrogant or too confident, that's because you obviously have low self-esteem, or maybe you're just not that sure of your damn self. That's what that is, okay? Because people who are confident themselves, they don't care about other people who are confident of themselves. In fact, they love it. So These people are all just a bunch of haters as far as I'm concerned. They have a whole lot to say. They're trying to clown Shadur. Clown him for what? He's still laughing and smiling, okay? He's happy and he's grateful to be in the situation that he's in. And like he said, you know, it could be worse. There's people who's doing way worse than him. So these people can sit here and laugh all they want, try to poke fun, try to mock him or whatever, but he's not paying any of that attention. Like he said, it's all about the game now, okay? It's all about the game. Forget what everybody's saying. All right. So anyway, Mally C says Texas is also where that teen killed 4 people drunk driving, the affluenza teen, and got 10 years probation. Nothing surprises me about that state. You know what? Thank you for purchasing a membership, beloved. But you know what? You're absolutely right. Okay. You are absolutely right. That teenager, and then he violated the probation when him and his mom went on a trip to Mexico. I remember that. Killed 4 people drunk, 16 years old, driving, drinking a 6-pack. And then his lawyer argued that because he was born to an affluent family and he'd been spoiled all his life, that that's what made him do it. And it wasn't really his own fault. And the judge bought it. Now, let's see how this all works out for Carmelo Anthony. Okay, all these racist devils sitting out here talking all this smack about Carmelo, they never have anything to say when the shoe's on the other foot, do they? No, they don't. They always make excuses. And then, you know, what gets me is when they try to play the darn victim, like we're going around here just taking them out, like they're so darn oppressed. I mean, it's really crazy. Okay, but hey, this is what devils do. Please pay attention. All right, now let's go to the clip. Let me see what I'm going to play here. This is some highlights of Deion, I do believe.
Yeah. He showed up to the combine without warming up, ran 4.27 in the 40, then refused to do any more drills. In an interview with the Giants, he stopped them mid-conversation to ask where their draft pick was. Unsatisfied with the response, Prime got up and told him we wouldn't be available at that spot, and promptly walked out. In a draft class with a few other future Hall of Famers, Sanders' enigma and brash personality is probably the reason he fell to 5th slot, straight into the Atlanta Falcons' lap. But at first, it didn't feel like that for the Falcons. Sanders was set on playing in both the MLB and the NFL. Drafted by the Yankees while having contract issues with Atlanta, Sanders worked his way into the Yanks starting lineup. In the truest primetime fashion, Sanders blasted a home run for the Yankees, then made his Falcons debut less than a day later. And what a debut it was. I guess teams didn't learn from his college career, as Sanders returned his first punt return 66 yards for a touchdown. Sanders was only a professional for 1 week, and he had done something no one had ever done. Homered in the MLB and scored a touchdown in the NFL within a day's time. In all actuality, Deion's nickname should be Precedent Time. That doesn't roll off the tongue quite as well as Prime, but it does seem like every time you look over, Deion was doing something no one had ever done before. Sanders signed with the Atlanta Braves in 1990, but it didn't take long before Sanders got tired of not being able to play in the baseball playoffs because the NFL season coincided. He manufactured his second deal to allow him to play both at the same time. In his first full postseason in baseball, Deion Sanders played outfield for the Braves in a World Series. All he did next was show up without any training camp and missing a quarter of the season to earn an All-Pro corner and a Pro Bowl punt returner nod. His time with the Falcons had come to an end when he scored 10 return touchdowns and was twice named the best cornerback in football. He signed with the 49ers next and had arguably the greatest year of his legendary career. He picked off 6 passes, 3 of which he scored on. On just those 6 interceptions, Prime set a still-standing interception return single-season mark at 303 yards. The most notable of those interceptions came on a 94-yard revenge pick against the Falcons. Deion stared down the Falcons' sidelines as he high-stepped into the end zone. Sanders and the 49ers won the NFC Championship, which led to another Prime first, being the only player to play in a World Series and a Super Bowl. Sanders ended up coming up with a 4th-quarter interception in the big game to win his first championship. All offseason, as Prime was playing baseball with the Reds, the media and the NFL were courting his services. While filming a commercial for a video game about himself, Deion had to dress up with 6 different team jerseys on because he didn't know what team he would eventually
said, I love what the Browns have done this offseason, but if I'm a young QB, ain't no way I'm going to Cleveland. I would pull an Eli Manning if possible. Hashtag think about it. Hashtag truth. Now, of course, the people over in the comments is mad that they brought this up. Says, this is pretty weak for a respected sports outlet. What does the Browns QB situation 7 years ago have to do with today? Entirely irrelevant. Do better at professional sports journalism or just become a tabloid. It's so funny how when these tweets from yesteryear come back to haunt somebody, I'm just going to say it, somebody black, everybody says it's irrelevant. What somebody said 7 years ago, that's irrelevant. Why are we talking about something from 7 years ago? But when a white player, think Joey Bosa, for example, was a Trump supporter years and years ago, and they came back and they found a tweet with him saying MAGA or something, and the left-wing sports people, black mainly, and white libtards lost their minds over it. But now it's irrelevant. Why does that matter? No, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to play both sides against the middle here. I'm going to tell y'all straight up, it doesn't matter. But it is funny that the very guy who said his son wouldn't play there just got drafted by them all the way down in the 5th round.
At least he got drafted, mother sucker. Why are you hating? Okay, why are you mad? And then trying to compare that to somebody that posted something about Trump. Well, first of all, most Trump supporters are racist. So that's why he got backlash. You can't compare that to Deion saying he didn't want his son playing for the Browns. And by the way, that was 7 years ago. And the reason that we bring it up and say it doesn't matter was 7 years ago because they got a whole different team now, fool. So he sounds so damn stupid. But anyway, let's continue. All right, the haters is going to hate, honey, and I'm here for it because I love it. I love it when they're mad at Black excellence, and that's what it is. Okay, so listen. Back in February, Roger Goodell spoke to Shadur Sanders, and here's what he said. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and Colorado quarterback Shadur Sanders shared an interesting exchange before the NFL honors on Thursday night, as seen in the latest well-off media video. Now, the brief but telling interaction between the two has sparked speculation about Shadur's future in the league and possibly that of his older brother, Bucky. So the video captures Goodell and Sanders shaking hands before Shadur casually tells the commissioner, you got to let my brother have his way in the league. This statement could be a nod to Deion Sanders Jr., who's been a trailblazer covering his brothers at Colorado and could eventually make his own way to doing the same in the NFL. While the moment seemed lighthearted, it hinted at a deeper conversation about the Sanders family growing influence in football. However, the most intriguing part of the conversation came when Goodell responded saying, "I'm worried about your dad." Shadur quickly followed up with, "What are you worried about him for?" And then they laughed it off. While the remark may have just been in jest, it raised eyebrows. Was Goodell referring to Deion Sanders' outspoken nature, his coaching style, or his impact on the sport? Whatever the case, the comment left room for interpretation. This encounter could also mark the only time Goodell and Shadur shake hands before the Buffs quarterback officially enters the NFL. Now, Shadur has made it clear that he won't be attending the NFL draft in Green Bay on April the 24th, opting instead for a celebration in Boulder. That decision aligns with his father's approach, as Deion famously skipped the draft in 1989 before becoming a Hall of Fame quarterback. Okay, so Shadur and his father, accompanied by Bucky, were in New Orleans for the NFL honor ceremony. That event also saw them sharing a moment with the rap legend Snoop Dogg, who was hosting the awards for the first time. Okay, so Roger Goodell said, "I'm worried about your dad." Now, I don't know exactly what he meant by that, but I can tell you right now that the fact that he said, "I'm worried about your dad," yeah, that goes right along with what's going on with Shadur right now. Okay, these people are hating on Deion more so than him. These people are hating on Deion and they don't want to deal with him. They think Deion's brash, too flashy and too arrogant. And here's the thing. Deion said himself that Shadur, out of all his children and his son specifically, that Shadur is the one who's most like him because he spent the most time with him. Okay, so when people see Shadur, yes, he is a reflection of his father. And why is that a bad thing? I mean, do they want to see him head bowed and downtrodden? No. They don't want to see him proud, and they feel like they have to humble him because why is he so proud of himself? Why is he so cocky? That's how they feel, and it's just really a shame that people are so ignorant. Okay, and then like I said, they went and dug up this old tweet. Old Deion Sanders tweet slamming Browns resurfaces after Shadur Sanders gets drafted. Okay, a Sanders tweet ripping the Browns resurfaced after Shadur was picked by Cleveland. Shadur Sanders is officially an NFL player getting drafted in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL draft by the Cleveland Browns. His journey to this point was long, strange, and winding, and that's before getting into his shocking draft slide. Sanders was widely expected to go in the first 2 rounds of the draft at first, or at worst, yet ended up available well into the 5th round. Regardless of how or why, Sanders is a Brown and can now turn his attention toward maximizing his potential as a football player. But in the meantime, there is plenty to discuss and dissect about Sanders' fall and final destination. As those discussions happened on Saturday, an old tweet of his father's resurfaced. Back in 2018, Deion Sanders decided to opine on the Browns' offseason moves and slammed Cleveland as a suboptimal destination for a young quarterback, saying that he'd pull an Eli Manning, which means force a draft trade to a preferred destination if he could. Saying, love what the Browns have done this offseason, but if I'm a young QB, ain't no way I'm going to Cleveland. I would pull an Eli Manning if possible. Hashtag think about it. Hashtag truth. 7 years later, it's Sanders' son as the young QB who would join the Browns. The NFL world will surely find out how he feels about that in the near future. Okay, and so anyway, honey, the haters gonna hate. That's what they're gonna do. Now, let's go to Stephen A. Smith and his panel discussion that they had about Shedeur. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. All right, here we go. Let me get an overlay real quick.
Is saying what I'm about to say in a roundabout way. Louis Riddick, I'm going to be straight up and down with you because you know how much I revere you. I completely disagree with you with what you're saying, and I'm disappointed in what you didn't say. A lot of this was about primetime Deion Sanders. You can say whatever you want to the audience out there, to these idiotic trolls all over social media talking about, Shadur Sanders wasn't that great or whatever. There is no one, I repeat, no one that looked at Shadur Sanders and even had him less than the 3rd best quarterback in the draft. This is a quarterback-driven league. This guy was considered one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the draft, and 143 picks came and went before you heard his name. Don't talk to me about football. I don't want to hear a damn thing about football. This ain't about football. This is about something else. And I said that even though it's different, I brought up the name Colin Kaepernick. And why? I didn't sit up there and throw a pity party for Colin Kaepernick. I knew his career in the NFL was over the minute that the NFL organized that workout for him at the Atlanta Falcons practice facility, which was led by Jay-Z and those cats and Roger Goodell and what have you. And he elected not to show up and instead tried to have the workout an hour and 20 minutes away. And he going to notify them 2 to 3 hours before the workout. I said, he is done. And I have no sympathy because, damn it, they tried to make it happen because the league had to do it because the owners didn't want to. It's an accident that no owner in the National Football League wanted to touch him. We can use the word collusion. It ain't necessary. They think alike in a lot of different situations. They don't have to collude with one another. There's a universal understanding that this is our league. And we want to do what we want to do the way that we want to do it. And we'll be damned if anybody's going to tell us what to do because guess what? We running the show. And people going to come. They're going to flock to the stadium. They're going to have their tailgate parties. We going to win in the ratings. We going to make damn near $250 million a piece as an owner. Ain't a damn thing anybody's going to do about it. We understood that years ago. But suddenly we going to engage in collective amnesia here. Hold on, Molly, because this is very important. Primetime Deion Sanders' hands are not clean in this. Shadur Sanders' hands are not clean on this. If you go into an interview and people thinking that you brash and arrogant and what have you, and they think that they're going to have a problem working with you, that's partially on you. Primetime Deion Sanders going out publicly and stating on the record, there's a couple of teams we might not want him with, and he ain't going there if we gonna get him, if they're gonna select him. And he's on Tamron Hall's show, and she's like, "What if your son don't listen?" He said, "Who? What? Like that ain't gonna happen." You look at NFL teams, along with the specter of people potentially calling for him to be the next coach. You can understand the reticence, but for 143
Stephen A,
picks.
hold that thought, because you brought up 3 points.
Half years to my dance on rap. I can go to fucking wall on you sucker and bang your off. Because I love me some confrontation.
On August 24th, 2023, police were dispatched to
All right, I was getting all into it. I thought that was going to be a little bit longer, but here's the thing. Now, how do you all feel about that? Do you all think that Deion is partially responsible? Okay. Do you all think that basically it's Deion's fault? Because, you know, Boomer Esiason said the NFL ordered those teams to do that, right? Let's go to the clip. Let's go to the clip. Took them off their draft boards, honey. They were told to do it. It was collusion. It was collusion. So what is Stephen A. Smith talking about? It damn sure was collusion. Boomer Esiason already told us how it went down. Okay, please pay attention. All right, please pay attention. They got together and plotted, baby. That's what they always do.
They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. Shadur Sanders just torpedoed himself. His attitude off the field at the combine, his dad didn't help him either. You know, he was on podcast talking about, this is my son. If I can get him to where I want to get him to, I'm going to do that. But, you know, when you listen to this kid talk right prior or at the combine about if you want a new culture in your locker room, I'm the guy to do that. I can turn it around. I mean, he's very high on himself. And I think he was very off-putting to many, many coaches and general managers in the league. And I'm telling you right now, and I know this after talking to 3 different personnel people in the NFL this weekend, they didn't even have him on their board. They took him off. And they took him off because the owner said, take him off. I don't want that guy. I don't want this entitled person on our team. And I don't blame him.
All right.
Drowning in influence of.
They said he was entitled. Okay, so they said he was entitled. Okay, but you know what's interesting though? Archie Manning, the father of Eli and Peyton Manning. Now he had a strong preference for his sons playing in the NFL. Okay, he knew where he wanted them to go. All right. So I'm sorry. Did they talk trash about him? Did they talk trash about him? No, they didn't. Okay, that's what they didn't do. Now, somebody correct me if I'm lying. Somebody correct me if I'm lying. Some of the guys in the chat, you all know more about football than I do, but didn't Archie Manning have a preference for where Eli and Peyton would in fact go? Okay. Because I know a lot about football now. I played powder puff football in high school. I was the quarterback. So I always loved football. So I pay attention to the game. And I do remember that Archie Payton, okay? Archie Manning wanted Eli and Peyton to go to specific teams. I don't remember those teams, but I remember he wanted them to go to specific teams. Archie Payton said he surely did, especially Eli Manning. Thank you. You see, it's a double standard. Like I told you all days ago, when it's a black man, it's cocky or arrogance or entitlements. Okay. But when it's one of them, oh, it's no problem. None whatsoever. Overthought said Archie demanded a trade after Eli got drafted by the Chargers. Okay. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. D for DeWin said he wanted them in different conferences. Mel said they treat Shadur like that because he's black. Yes, that's exactly what it is. And because they hate Deion. They hate Deion, okay? They hate what Deion's accomplished. They hate the fact that he's always been one who's just so sure of himself. And they hate that Shadur is equally as sure of himself. But anyway, let's go to another clip. Lights up, everyone. I'm going to let you all hear this conference call that Shadur was on.
Hi, Shadur. Congratulations on becoming a Cleveland Brown, first of all. But just wanted to ask you, can you please put into words somehow just the emotional roller coaster that you have been on since the first day of this draft and waiting for this to happen, including a nasty prank call that everyone can agree was a horrible thing, to finally getting that phone call from the Browns and jumping in the pool?
Yeah, I would say I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity throughout everything. I don't ever focus on the negative or even think about the negative because the positive happens so fast, and it's a change of emotions. For me, it was just playing quarterback. That's what it's about. You can't be up too low or anything. You got to be able to celebrate. So when we score a touchdown, we celebrate for a little bit. Now it's back to it's time to work. It's time to go. So that's all it is a football game to me, and that's how I view it. That's my personality. Is I would say, level through adversity and level through everything, any situation I'm faced with, because I know what it's going to require for me to come out on top.
Hi, Shadur. This is Ashley Bastak from Cleveland.com. I wanted to talk to you about that because I know you bring up how adversity fuels you a lot. So, just knowing so many analysts had you pegged as first or second round talent to fall to day 3, how is going when you went in the draft going to motivate you think, going forward in your NFL career?
Yeah, I don't feel like I feel like talent is everywhere throughout the draft. It's about just being picked and who sees your value. That's pretty much it, because it's a lot of valuable players that go, in the rounds after the first and second. So I'm a product of one of those, and I understand you can't really categorize, I'll say, my talent. I just got to prove and show what I'm capable of. But what fuels me is my purpose in life and understanding the route that's now that we're going to have to take, understanding that I was able to get an opportunity when a lot of people didn't want to give me an opportunity. So that's what I'm truly thankful for. So that's what fuels me.
Hey, Shedeur, this is Daniel Oyefusi with ESPN. I just wanted to get your thoughts on specific.
Okay, so you all can hear this is a very humble young man. Okay, they got him all effed up. He is very humble. Okay, giving credit to other players, being grateful that he even got picked, no matter what number or what round. At the end of the day, people are haters. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention. The hate is real, baby. But let me tell y'all something. What God has for you, nobody can stop and nobody can take it away. And they can hate all they want. But let me tell y'all something. It is not a coincidence that Shadur was picked 144th. For those of you that follow the spiritual channel, you know that I talk about numerology and astrology all the time. And numbers have power just like words. And numbers are very significant, specifically certain numbers. 144. How many times is that number mentioned in the Bible? And that number holds various symbolic meanings, often associated with spiritual awakenings, divine purpose. This is his divine purpose, okay? And it stands for wholeness also. Spiritual awakening, divine purpose, and wholeness, okay? It's a symbol of spiritual growth and enlightenment. All right, so please pay attention. And it can also indicate that one is on the right path and they have guardian angels watching over them, okay? The number 144 is often seen as a sign of encouraging individuals to deepen their spiritual journey and embrace their divine purpose. Okay, so again, shout out to Shadur. All right, this is an awesome young man and he's going places, baby, whether they like it or not.
100%. Every game Shedeur ever played in his life, I coached him. I had never been away from him. I'm watching the games, and I'm seeing 74% completion percentage, 72, 70, 68. And he said, Dad, I need you. I need you back. It's okay. I'll be there. I'm in a big old wheelchair, man, and I probably had lost 30, 40 pounds. That was tough, but he said he needed me. Any parent out there, if your child say, I need you, you're going to break your neck to be there. And when you know it, we were down in the fourth quarter, and he marched us down the field, threw the game-winning touchdown, and I look at the scoreboard, and it had 21 of them. They're driving down, they throw a deep ball, Shallow picks it off. Forget Super Bowl, World Series, forget anything. That moment right there.
Need what you want, but want what you want to need, but need what you want to need.
Bro, you killed
what
it.
you want.
I need
Dog.
you to get out of my life. I need you to get off my team. I need you to transfer and get in the portal immediately. How about that?
Hey, favorite son.
What's going on, baby? It's prime time, son. You know we're getting that work in. 21 days of prime, baby.
Hey, don't laugh at it. Don't encourage it. Don't encourage it. You laughing too? So you think that's funny too? You think I sound like that?
Good day and God bless his prime time son, baby.
Sure, why not? Wait, what's this?
For the last pick of the
Bro,
The end zone for Shadur. This time he does it with his legs. And that's an old school Deion prime time dance in the end zone for Shadur.
I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping in is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading on light, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Put my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping in is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward.
All right. I'm here for all of it. Let me tell y'all something, honey. I have always loved Deion Sanders, and I always will. Honey, can't nobody tell me anything about prime time, okay? I had Deion Sanders posters all over my room when I was in high school. All right, so they convinced me with it, okay? They are mad, and they can stay mad, okay? Because Shedeur and Shiloh is going places. Now, listen to this. Deion Sanders makes cryptic posts about lying and truth amid NFL rumors about Shedeur. This is what he posted. A lie don't care who tells it or who repeats it. Its goal is to be heard. The truth could be standing right in front of you consistently for years, but you don't see it because a lie is in your mind. The truth may not be as popular as a lie, but the truth wins in the end. Hashtag Coach Prime. Okay? Now, as reports continue to surface regarding Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shadur Sanders' massive slide in the 5th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, his father, Deion Sanders, addressed the speculation in a cryptic manner. Okay, that's when he posted the tweet. Now, they say prognosticators universally viewed Shadur Sanders as a potential first-round draft pick after his strong career at Colorado. Instead, 5 quarterbacks were selected before him, but the Browns used their 5th-round pick to draft him. Now, Cleveland even passed on him 2 rounds earlier when it selected Oregon quarterback Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd. Many have been trying to figure out an explanation for Sanders' tumble down the draft board. ESPN's Dan Graziano reported during Monday's episode of Get Up that evaluators weren't revealing their true assessments of the 23-year-old leading up to the draft. They say the theory was that people inside these buildings were kind of scared to give their honest opinion of him because of the potential for criticism, the potential of Deion and everything that's around Shadur to kind of come down on them. They scared of Deion, honey. Do y'all hear this? They are scared of Deion. That's why Roger Goodell said, I'm worried about your father. Okay. Anyway, goes on to say the Athletic's Mike Jones also reported that there was a negative perception of Sanders' attitude, supporting reports that he rubbed teams the wrong way during the pre-draft interview process. They say Sanders instilled in his son a strong sense of self-belief, Jones stated. But because the primetime way borders on the extreme, Deion also passed on to Shadur an off-putting air that NFL evaluators perceived as arrogance and entitlement. Okay, that's just hate. That's what it is. They're haters. Okay, it will take quite some time to determine whether teams were right to pass up on Sanders, but the Browns are certainly hoping that he will have a productive NFL career. Okay, the hate is real, honey. All right, the hate is real. So with that all being said, let's go to the next clip. Hold on. Now this is Shadur reacting. Hold on, is this when he got drafted? I think this is when he didn't get picked. Hold on. He reacts to not getting drafted. Okay, in round 1. All right, and I just want y'all to see this young man's attitude because, honey, this is why they're mad too. They're still mad because he's unbothered, because he doesn't give a darn what they say. Please pay attention.
We all didn't expect this, of course, but I feel like with God, anything possible, everything possible. I don't feel like this happened, for no reason. All this is, of course, fuel to the fire. And under no circumstance, we all know this shouldn't have happened. But we understand we're on the bigger and better things. Tomorrow's the day. We're going to be happy regardless. Legendary. Ooh.
Okay, so now with that all being said, let's go to what this hater had to say. Okay, let's go to what this hater had to say. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Thank you in advance, beloveds. I appreciate you. Okay, here we go. Let me get my overlay, honey, because I don't need any issues.
I don't understand what the heck's going on with this. 5th player on my board. Never happened before in 47 years where a player that high has dropped this far into the 4th round. A quarterback sitting there in round 4 with other quarterbacks being taken who aren't as good as Shedeur, aren't even close.
In the spine, I came with the fellas. Ray Mac got hit in the back, it's melon. And if I throw a bullet, I'll bet you catch that. I told Robbie, how about the feet?
Here we in good spirits, of course. God don't make mistakes. You gotta faith in God no matter what.
What up, bro? What up, Mars got touch and we killing it, boxing.
I think it's the
Okay, I thought that was the one with the hater who was talking all the slick stuff about why he didn't get drafted. This is clearly before he got drafted. Now let's go to Deion, because this is the video that Stephen A. Smith was talking about, I believe.
That I won't allow him to play for.
Whoa.
This is my profession. I know what's behind the curtain. We ain't got to get back there for me to understand what's not prominent for my son. I'm not doing it. Ain't
and
no
if he
in the
doesn't
world.
listen to you?
Who? No, you must mean owners, like not my son.
Have you told him privately who you would like for him to play for?
It's not like who I would like for him to play for. It's a couple teams that I won't allow him to play for.
Whoa.
This is my profession. I know what's behind.
Okay. So y'all heard that. He said he knows what's behind the curtain. Okay, what do y'all think he meant by that? All right, he knows how they get down, basically. So he didn't want him playing for certain teams. And, one of the things that they don't like is the fact that his sons actually listen to him. Okay, now, with that all being said, Travis Kelce, on anonymous coaches who ripped Shadur Sanders, before NFL draft. What the F is that about? So Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce wants some accountability from the anonymous NFL people who ripped Shadur Sanders prior to the 2025 NFL draft. Kelce, and for those of you who don't know, this is Taylor Swift's boyfriend. Okay, not that you care, but So anyway, Kelce went on a profane tirade while discussing the situation, saying the people who criticize Sanders should come out and say who they are. Exactly. Why are you hiding? Kelce made those comments during an appearance on his podcast, New Heights. Kelce dropped plenty of F-bombs during his rant, which are thankfully bleeped out. Now, he said, I think whoever the effing anonymous person is that's effing saying this effing, saying this should effing come out and say who they are. What the F is that about? Okay, he said, I'm not sure why he dropped, whether it was the interviews or whether it was stuff that they saw on film. What I saw on film, I thought he was a way higher pick. And I think that's all that should matter. I feel like this is going to be such a fresh start for him. I could see him working his ass off and becoming the starting quarterback in Cleveland at some point for sure. Sanders, who many expected to be a first-round pick, fell all the way to the 5th round. Cleveland Browns eventually grabbed Sanders with the 144th pick. Okay, now while some analysts expressed hesitation about Sanders' ability before the draft, it appears other issues played a role in Sanders' slide. Now, mind you all, out of the 32 teams, there was about 7 teams who actually needed quarterbacks, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. But let me continue. Okay, so anyway, it goes on to say, an article by Tom Pelissero of NFL Network brought some of those to light as Sanders was ripped apart for poor interviews with teams. Following the draft, Boomer Esiason claimed at least 3 teams took Sanders off their draft boards due to his entitled attitude. He eventually landed with the Browns, who relayed the same message to Kelce in their draft phone call with Sanders. Browns general manager Andrew Berry told Sanders to prove everyone who passed on you wrong toward the end of the call. That's right. That's all he got to do. And like the young man said, all he needs is a chance. Okay? And he is going to prove them wrong. All right? At the end of the day, talking about entitled. They're trying to minimize his talent and act as though that he only got to where he is because Deion Sanders is his father. Now I see why Bucky said that he would never tell people his name. He didn't want them to like him or try to do things for him because of his father. Okay? But at the end of the day, Shadur and Shiloh both have talent regardless. Okay, now it should not come as a major surprise that Kelce wants to do away with anonymous NFL draft quotes. Kelce was subject to the off-field concerns prior to the 2013 NFL draft after he was suspended for the entire 2010 season at the University of Cincinnati due to a positive test for marijuana. Now Travis was out there smoking Mary Jane. Now, despite returning to action and playing well in 2011 and 2012, Kelce likely fell in the draft due to the 2010 suspension. When it occurred years prior to his draft year, Kelce said off-the-field concerns came up during his draft phone call with Chiefs coach Andy Reid, who bluntly asked Kelce if he was going to F this up. So Kelce's situation clearly worked out for the best. He proved to be a major steal for the Chiefs, who took him in the 3rd round of the draft. Since then, Kelce developed into one of the biggest tight ends of all time. The Hall of Fame call will come the instant Kelce is eligible for the honor. Sanders can only hope for a similar story. He doesn't need to be a superstar or a future Hall of Famer to be a success in the NFL. Merely working his way into a starting role will be enough to quiet the anonymous folks who tried to tear him down. Absolutely, honey. People are such haters. Okay, and then they want to compare him to his father. But here's the thing. There is very few people that you can compare to a Deion Sanders. This man won a Super Bowl and a World Series. Okay, the only person that even was close to comparing to him is Bo Jackson. And there's been, discrepancies like, who do y'all think is better, Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders? One's in the chat. Who do y'all think is better, Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders? Because they always try to compare them. I think they're both awesome. I think they're both awesome. Nessie X said that's right. No comparing. Okay. Now, with that all being said, let me pull up a few more clips. Okay. I think this is the one with him. Yeah. Now this right here, y'all, this right here is classic. Deion returns to the Atlanta Falcons. Okay. And then he gets into it with Andre Rison because both of them thought they were the ish back then. Please pay attention. Okay. I don't know about Andre, but Deion's always been the ish. All right. That's just a fact.
Who returns to Atlanta for the first time since signing with the 49ers. And of course, he'll be looking at Mr. Rison today.
I mean, if it was possible, I would love for everyone else to get off the field so we could just go at it one-on-one. Yeah, I mean, I'm that kind of guy.
Well, if he want to go one-on-one, we can go one-on-one all day.
Hey, we got some duking going on. Andre Rison and Deion
Get him,
Sanders.
Deion.
That's a classic. Ward has time, and his pass is intercepted. Uh-oh, they're not checking him down the sideline. Deion Sanders is dancing. He's looking backwards from about the 40-yard line. Is he going to do a number on the crowd here?
I got one thing to say. This is my house. Woo! I built this, and this is my house. I don't care if I'm with the Falcons or not. This is my house, and this will always be my house. Now let's continue.
Deion Sanders.
Y'all heard what he said. Y'all heard what he said. Okay. See, back then, you could do all that on the field and not even get put out of the game or fined. Okay. That's right. Nessie X said he was amazing, honey. He was the baddest. Now, I did love Andre Rison too, but Deion was the man, honey. That's just facts. Okay. That is just facts. All right. So anyway, let's continue. Now, this clip is the moment that Shadur, the moment that dropped Shadur Sanders to the 5th round. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance.
What does Shadur Sanders need? What do you hope to get out of the NFL to help you reach your maximum potential as fast as possible?
All I need is opportunity. Simple. Whatever franchise want to change their franchise, and there's no doubt who to go with. I've done it over and over and over, so you'll be a fool not to pick me.
And Lewis mentioned again,
if you ain't trying to change the franchise or the coach, don't give me. So you should know history repeats itself over and over and over, and I've done it over and over and over, so it should be no question why an NFL franchise should pick me. You think I'm worried about what critics say or what people got to say? You know who my dad is? They hated on him too. So it's like it's almost normal. Without people hating, it's not normal for us. So we like diversity. We like everything that comes with the name. That's why we are who we are. I mean, how many times did Raul get touched?
So what?
How many times did Raul get touched? There was able, like, of course, whenever you're able to run the ball consistently and whenever you're able to, then that opens up the pass, you know? But it's just like you got to understand, like, what your team good at. So it's like, why would we keep running the ball if, okay, we out there and we get in a situation where it's a must get and we don't get it?
Are those kind of like 4th and 1 conversions that haven't gone your guys' way in the last couple of, is that kind of play into everybody's mind? Is that kind of something on your mind when thinking about, advancing the ball and whatnot?
Nah, I'd rather, if we're going to go down, I'd rather go down swinging, honestly, because I know I can throw the best punch.
Hey, man. Listen, I'm a generational talent. I'm going to prove them right. I'm going to prove them right. Don't worry.
Oh, my God. Bro, this is more and more.
I knew it.
Who said that? Actually, nah. An article came out today. I'm generational. So I guess it's article versus article.
I like that you think that, man. But we all know the truth.
What? Trap gonna be first?
They know what's best.
I got to respond to this. Don Joe says he knows they hate him. Why make it worse? What do you mean, why make it worse? Why not? Why not? When people hate on me, I give them a reason to. Okay? Because people hate on you for no reason. Okay, not because of anything you've done. People usually hate on you because of insecurities they have about themselves, because they're miserable. They're not sure of themselves. They're not confident. Okay, it's something about you that they don't have, and so they hate. And so when people hate on you, the best thing for you to do is to make them hate even more. Why should you dim your light so that others can shine? Why should you dim your light so that others don't feel insecure around you? That's what you should never do. Okay, that's what you should never do. If they're not shining, then that's on them. Now let's continue.
They know it's just like I told Joe. He don't know what that pressure like.
Are you a coach or a wellness practitioner who knows you're meant for more, but your business still isn't
Okay, so that all being said, and let's continue. Some of y'all just don't get it. Don Joe talking about why make it worse. First of all, because he doesn't give a damn about them hating. Haven't you noticed? He said that's not normal if people are not hating on you, honey. See, this is the thing. When you're a confident person and you're sure of yourself and you have things going, there are always going to be haters. That's a fact. I mean, people only throw shade to those of us who are shining, right? Yeah, think about that and marinate on it for a minute, beloved. Okay, while I go to this next clip, right, of the next future Hall of Famer.
No NFL team is willing to accept Shadur Sanders. No one realizes that his three kinds of behaviors are truly intolerable. Shadur Sanders, the quarterback of the University of Colorado, has a shadow over his draft prospects. Despite his excellent college statistics, many NFL teams are keeping their distance from him. The fundamental reason is closely related to his father Deion's primetime style of education. During an interview, Shadur was criticized by the coach for being arrogant and unprofessional. He even shifted the blame onto his teammates when the team lost the game due to his own mistakes. Instead of disciplining his son, Deion indulged Shadur in imitating his primetime style during the game, showing off various luxury items. As a result, his behavior has been loathed by many teams, and no one is willing to accept him. In addition, Deion was fully involved in Shedur's draft process. Moreover, Shadur often emphasizes repeatedly in interviews, "I have my father's support." This kind of arrogance of the father-son package makes all teams reluctant to choose this person with connections. In contrast, although his father Deion was flamboyant back then, he conquered the league with his personal strength. However, Shadur seems to rely more on growing up under his father. No wonder no NFL team is
Okay, that's the hater I was telling you all about, talking about his three kinds of behavior and talking about his father and all of that. Honey, y'all are just pressed, okay? Just clearly pressed. And it's really sad. I mean, they should, in fact, be embarrassed, okay, of themselves. Anyway, it's time for a reset. Okay, it's time for a reset. 2025 NFL QB market, teams in need of a reset and potential replacements. All right, so I want you all to pay attention because this is from November of last year, and they were talking a whole lot about Shadur back then. Looking ahead to the 2025 quarterback class, it could be hard for teams to find a franchise player in the draft. While 3 or 4 quarterbacks might emerge as first-round prospects, evaluators will look hard at Colorado's Shadur Sanders, Texas's Quinn Ewers, Miami's Cam Ward, and Georgia's Carson Beck to see if they're worthy of being considered elite prospects. With a lot of games left to play, the draft's blue chip prospects will have a chance to cement their status with solid performances against elite competition down the stretch. So they were already predicting him to be like one of the top picks. That's how you know they were hating. Of course they colluded. Like, what is Stephen A. Smith even talking about? Okay? What is he even talking about? Please pay attention. Okay, so anyway, I have a few more clips for you all, so let's keep going.
Where you go don't matter. Like I say, and this I reference Tom Brady because he was the best of the best in all categories. He didn't go first. So the number getting picked don't matter. I wasn't the top-rated quarterback coming out of high school because it's a lot of exterior things that people like and they don't like about me. And I'm realistic. The number of where you go don't matter. Like I say, and it's
Now, did you all hear that? And I'm talking about why, how can they possibly say this young man isn't humble? He said there's a lot of things about him that people don't like and he's realistic, okay? And the number doesn't matter. All right. So I'm sorry. This young man is very humble as far as I'm concerned, honey. Okay. But like I said, haters would never see that because they're too busy dealing with their own insecurities, which is exactly what makes them feel like this young man is just boastful, brash, arrogant, flamboyant, and all the other things they use to describe his father. Okay, please pay attention. Okay, so likes up. Everyone, please like and share. Now, this is a clip that I enjoyed where Deion basically said that he pretended to be mad at Shiloh because of what Shiloh did on the field. He pretended to be fussing at him, but he really wasn't.
Stepped in high school one time, and he actually got mad. So I did it from like
I played like I was mad. It was a TV game.
He said,
and I played like I was mad because I was on television, and I told you if you high step, I was gonna come over to you and play like I'm yelling at you, but I'm really not yelling at you.
All right, okay.
I'm really complimenting you. Looking at you like I'm getting on you for high step. But I'm telling you, next time you high step, put your hand behind the head and do it like I got you. But I gotta play like I'm mad because he high stepped and we got a penalty. Okay. So I couldn't applaud that.
I did high step from the 35.
He did. It's an ESPN game too. We had already planned it. We know he's gonna break one.
I high stepped in high school one time.
He said, next time, put your hand behind your head and do it like I taught you. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, honey. The haters can stay mad. They can stay mad. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. We're going to conclude the broadcast in a moment.
See y'all morning, baby. Where you been at? Dog, you know what's up. Dog, y'all gotta get better, dog. You ain't got nothing there, President. Come on. Hey, man. You ain't gave us nothing, dog. We gonna touch you. I'm getting tired of y'all. We get rid of all the bull junk. What's going on, baby? It's prime time. What's going on, baby? It's prime time, son. You know we're getting that work in. 21 days of prime, baby.
I'm gonna need y'all to need what you want, but won't. Piano that I grew up playing though. I'm gonna play y'all a little song, maybe. I promise you, I bet money is not tuned, but I'm gonna still give y'all a little something, you know what I'm saying? This is the piano.
All right, awesome and talented.
Better athlete, Bo Jackson or Deion Sanders? Bo Jackson dominated at football, baseball, and as a track athlete. He won the Heisman Trophy in 1985, was the first overall pick in the 1986 draft, and refused to play for the Bucs. So instead, he played baseball and was drafted by the Royals. Deion, however, was originally drafted by the Royals as well in 1985, but didn't sign with them either. And instead, he went to Florida State, where he played baseball, football, and ran track like Bo. Then in the 1988 MLB draft, Deion was drafted by the Yankees. And in the 1989 NFL draft, he was drafted 5th overall by the Falcons. Deion had a longer career as he played 9 seasons in MLB and 14 in the NFL as a Hall of Famer. While Deion had longevity and accolades, it was Jackson's raw power and speed that make him the better athlete. He ran a 4.12 40-yard dash leading up to the NFL Combine, 30 pounds heavier than Deion. and he is the only athlete ever to be an all-star in 2 major North American sports. Who's the better athlete, Bo or Deion? Who was the better athlete?
All right. So just 2 more clips and then we're out of here. Okay. Actually, 3 more. I can't remember if I showed this one already. I'm not sure.
Started off with playing defensive end. He and Shiloh were defensive ends. They would just cause havoc. They both played quarterback, but Shiloh was always 2 years older. And it came a time when we got to high school, I said, Shiloh, look, man, it's over for you, buddy. It's over for your quarterback. It's time for your brother. Man, that ain't right, man. That ain't right. I said, no. I'm going to work with you, and I'm going to teach you how to play corner and DB, and you're going to really be good. If you just get up and listen, I got you. But it's time for your brother, okay? And we went at it about that. But he accepted it sooner or later, and he blossomed as a DB, and life is life. He started. Hey, God bless. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Feeling real good today. I don't know why. Yes, I do. God gave me an opportunity. He gave me a gift. That's why we call today the present. Now I'm getting ready to open it up. There's 24 hours or 86,400 seconds in a day. We all get the same amount of time, but how we use it is where the difference lies. I need you to hold on to this. You got to stop playing and wasting time on things that don't provide you peace and joy. Being successful in it. Locate your purpose. Find your purpose. Get in your purpose. Walk in your purpose. Act in your purpose. Talk in your purpose. Walk in your purpose. And be successful in it. You're different now. Act like it. You're different, baby. Act like it. You're different. Act like it. Quit trying to fit in. You don't fit in. You fit out. You're different. Now act like it. Let's go.
Now, I'm sorry, but if you don't like Deion Sanders, honey, you just got to be a whole hater, okay? How can anybody not love this man, okay? He's absolutely magnificent. He's awesome. He's blacknificent, okay? He's everything. I'm sorry, it's true, all right?
Top plays happened when there was no camera there. I practiced like I played, so when I played, it would be practice. Somebody out there right now, the light ain't on you, but keep making plays. Nobody's talking about you, but keep making plays. Right. I know your sales numbers aren't where your friend is, but keep making plays. I know nobody's talking about you, and you're not on the leaderboard right now, but baby, keep making plays. My top plays happened when there was no camera there. I practiced like I
All right, here we go. This is somebody impersonating Deion to a T as far as I'm concerned.
Go ahead, next question. You in the back. Me? Yeah. You in the back. Go ahead. Coach Brian, how do you feel about how Coach Robinson acted? How do I feel about how Coach Robinson acted? Yes, sir. Yes. Well, baby, I'm going to put it like this, baby. I'm a grown man, baby. Yes. I take care of grown man business now, baby. Yes, you do. Okay? But I'm going to just say this. Not one, but 2 black coaches coaching HBCU. Yes. And he chose to act like that in front of the world, baby. Make it make sense, baby. Make it make sense, baby. Now, I understand that not everybody is confident within themselves, baby. Okay? So when they get around somebody who is, sometimes it's uncomfortable for them. Now, I understand that somebody might feel some type of way about getting a whooping like that on their homecoming, baby. Oh, for sure. But once again, they chose to play us. So make it make sense, baby. Make it make sense, baby. But Coach Brown ain't gonna do too much more talking on this topic here, baby. Like I said, Coach Robinson, he know who to call if you really want to talk about this some more.
That was spot on, okay? That was a good impersonation. Quite accurate.
I was a killer, but guess what happened? I got in the pros and my locker was right beside Bobby Butler. And he said, young fella, you're not going to play this game long if you keep going about it like that. Just get him on the ground. You don't have to kill him because you're not going to play long. And he said, okay, what you make a year? I was like 1.1 million or something at the time. That's the highest paid defense player.
Dang.
Yeah, that was bad back then, but it was great.
That's like 40 million nowadays, right?
Exactly.
All the way back then.
But he said, okay, what if you could make that 10 years instead of 4? I said, I get it. So I changed the way I approached the game. Yeah, I just wasn't going out of my way to go get it. I was a killer, but guess what happened? I got in the pros and my locker was right beside Bobby.
Okay, I promise, just a couple of more. We're about to be out of here. I'm sorry I got caught up.
Sean, you know, sometimes God will allow things to happen so you can see things clearly. You know, I said last week that I was going to wear my boot to Sunday, and I was going to start wearing the regular shoes. And I've been wearing regular shoes around, but on the practice field, I've been wearing my boot. And my boot started hurting me really bad today. And you had to go up and grab my shoes. Thank you for that. Fuck you. Have somebody go upstairs and get the other shoe like this.
Sure. I got you.
He's throwing interceptions, and I said, what was that? What is wrong with you? What was that? And he walked by, he said, look at the tape. Just go look at the tape. And I go look at the tape, and someone busted a route. We got 2 posts coming from both outsides. Because I know how accurate he is. I mean, one game he threw a pick down, I think, a 5-yard line or whatever. And I'm like, what? We can't do that. We already had 3. Don't risk that on a chance. And he missed and overthrew the guy. And I'm like, man, what is going on? Check the tape. Center get blows up. He's on his back. He rolls over to the quarterback. He can't step in his throat. So the ball sails because he almost got his knees blown out. Never said nothing about it. It's times that he's thrown interceptions, and I said, what was?
Shadur told him, watch the clip, okay? Because he knew what he was doing. All right.
I'm so excited for camp. I hope you like this gift. I have one just like it from Steve. I can't make out the last name. A young man, a child that wrote it, so that's why I can't really make it out. This is what Steve sent me. This is awesome. He said he has one just like it. This is awesome, Steve. Look at this. Isn't that awesome?
It looks amazing.
A kid. Steve, my team is going to find out how to get in touch with you because this is awesome. And I want to FaceTime you. I want to meet you. I just want to hug you and thank you for this. I truly appreciate this. 100%. That is awesome. I am so.
Now y'all see that this is a good person, honey. If you don't like Deion Sanders, you got to be a whole hater, and that's just a fact. Okay? I bet that made that little child's day. Okay, here we go.
Is my prodigal son. He's that one kid that keeps you on your knees and makes sure you have a relationship with the Lord. Because you got to pray for him. And he going to make sure you pray.
Who should I trust, Dad? Who should I trust more? I think you should trust all your sisters. Dad is not involved.
I think he's the prime side of me. When he gets on the field, he is so aggressive and dominant right now. I'm so proud of him. He studies and prepares for the game. The team plays better whenever he's out there. He's not just on the field because his last name is Sanders. He's on the field because he can flat out ball.
He's Coach Prime and he's Dad, but those two guys are really similar. Like, he's always Coach Prime. He's always coaching off the field, coaching at home, coaching on the phone when he calls me at night. But that's just him. He just wants us to be great, and we understand that. It is what it is.
One thing about his sons is they love their father and they respect him and they absolutely do what he tells them to do.
We on the cross. Please take my kids off. I got this. I will take it for them.
I'm dead serious. Okay, God. We good. Listen up. Lord, put me on the cross. Please take my kids.
Logical father, that was prime. That was him. Salt and pepper, wavy hair. I mean, he was that. He said, baby boy, I don't think earrings ain't no place for a football player. What? You gonna tell me something about no earrings? Earrings ain't got no place on the football field. Whoa. I never wore earrings again. Why would I be wearing an earring on the football field? Trying to be seen, trying to stunt. Never wore it again. My biological father, that was prime. That was him. Salt and pepper, wavy hair. I mean,
You stop. Let me tell you what was behind it, because everything I did in life was premeditated. It was pre.
I want you all to pay attention because he's explaining his song Must Be the Money, because everybody thought that he was bragging when he wrote that song.
Calculated. It was well thought of. When I turned pro and people started to change around me, it wasn't me who changed. I was the same little skinny leg, big eared guy with a curl, the same dude. But I was saying everything around me is changing, so it must be the money. You thought I was bragging, but I was really testifying. This was a testimony. I was like, must be the money, because people want to be my friend. People want to get next to me. That's really what I was saying. I was really spitting the gospel in there.
All right, now this is truly the last one.
Guys from Colorado State, they said they were offered how much in the portal?
600.
How you offered 600 and you didn't get in the portal?
I didn't come here to make money. I came here to win games.
Why could none of y'all ask that question? Whoa. How are you offered 600,000 but you didn't get in the portal? I got time today. The two guys.
Now, either they were lying or somebody broke some rules, okay? Either they were lying or somebody broke the darn rules. All right, so with that all being said, I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. Nina said his money changed them. Yeah, it did. Okay, it changed them, not him. All right, so anyway, like I said, I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm about to be out of here. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to double check to make sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, especially if you haven't been receiving those notifications. I love you all to life. I will be posting something on the spiritual channel for the members. Okay, and I may be live on there. I'm not sure, but definitely going to post something on there for the members. All right, premiere. So with that all been said, listen, I hope you all enjoy your strong end, not your weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. And be as sure about yourself and as confident in yourself and your abilities as Shadur Sanders is, okay? Because they learned that from their father. All right, this is what it looks like when you teach your kids, you know, when you speak life into them and you inspire them, you breathe life into them, you speak positivity over them, and you teach them to value, love, and respect who they are. All right, and to be realistic, okay? Because that's what they are. You see, that's why Shadur wasn't bothered when he got picked 5th round. And all of these people sitting up here trying to hate, just trying to bring a black man down. Yeah, that's not going to work, okay? Because one thing about it is this. When you teach your children things at home, when people out there in the streets try to tell them something to the contrary, they're not going to listen to it, okay? They're not going to listen to it. And you have to, the main thing is to teach children to love themselves and to have a high value of themselves. Because at the end of the day, it's obvious to me that Deion has taught his sons, all of his children, it's obvious that he's taught them that it's more important what you think about yourself than what other people think about you. Like I always tell you all on the spiritual channel, because it's called self-esteem for a reason, not what everybody else thinks about you esteem. Okay, so please pay attention. Bithia said that part, Queen, okay? Thank you, beloved. So that all been said, I love you all to life. Right, each one, teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Until next time, peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got